When you've got some of your better players, two of them in particular, that aren't out there, and that's your job. Yeah, you take a lot of pride in that. One thing, we got a lot of really good players, and we've rewarded a lot of good players, and that makes things tougher at times. I remain optimistic. We'll find a way to put the best squad out there, and really happy with where this team's at.
The San Francisco 49ers are going to be a very interesting case study in 2024. Obviously coming off of a fantastic 2023 season, making it back to the Super Bowl for the second time in 5 years, looking like one of the most dominant teams in the league as well from start to finish. And at this very moment, they are bringing back all of their key players that were a part of that team just this past season. And so the fact that they're bringing back all of that talent, and Brock Purdy is going to be entering year number 3 and his second season as a full-time starter, it's easy for people to just chalk it up as, hey, the 49ers are going to be one of the best teams in the NFC once again. They're going to be one of the best teams in the league once again. They should be the favorites to win the conference. They're going to be right back in the championship game, maybe against the Chiefs in another rematch. But I don't necessarily think it's that simple, especially with all of the drama that's been circulating around this 49ers team all summer long. It's pretty well documented how teams fare coming off of a Super Bowl loss. It is known as the quote-unquote Super Bowl hangover. Now, to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, the 49ers have already experienced losing a Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2019. So I don't think at face value, just the Super Bowl loss will have a huge effect on the 49ers. It's really all the other outside noise that I think is going to combine and kind of have a snowball effect on this team this season. The offseason drama really all started with wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, and it's still continuing to this day. And honestly, I'm not a 49ers fan, but at this point, I'm just so tired of this situation, hearing about it almost every single day, just new updates. Oh, the 49ers and Ayuk had a new meeting. Oh, Ayuk and the Steelers are getting close to a trade going through. Oh, the 49ers are going to swoop in late and get him to agree on a contract extension. I mean, it's just one thing after another, and there's just been no conclusion to this story for multiple months now. At this point, I'm just hoping that something gives, and we're only 2 weeks away from the regular season, so maybe he just ends up playing out this last year on his contract, and then we have a whole nother offseason of all this drama. And this situation is just so unique because I do see both parties' side. Ayuk is coming off of the best season of his career, 75 catches, over 1,300 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He's really the security blanket for Brock Purdy. I mean, we've seen their chemistry continue to develop over the past couple of seasons, and Ayuk has just seen receiver after receiver after receiver get a ton of money this offseason. CeeDee Lamb just got paid a couple days ago, and it's been reported a couple of times that Ayuk wants to be paid around $30 million per season, which is kind of close to all the other top receivers in the league. And the 49ers organization is basically like, you're a really good player, but we just don't value you as one of those elite top 5 wide receivers in the league. And I can't say I really blame them, because the 49ers are a run-first team, and Ayuk is never going to get the production or even the targets that all those other top receivers are going to get. Ayuk has not even had 80 catches in a season in his career, and I don't really think that's going to change with the philosophy that Kyle Shanahan uses on offense. So if you're the 49ers, does it really make sense to pay a wide receiver who's going to get around 75 touches a year $30 million? It just doesn't really seem like a great value play. And I think the 49ers kind of realized that, because in the first round of the NFL draft, they drafted a new wide receiver in Ricky Pearsall out of Florida. That's another fold to the situation, because Pearsall had a shoulder injury. He missed a lot of training camp, and there's been some talks, is he really ready to step in year number 1 and produce and maybe be that Ayuk replacement? I don't think the 49ers are quite comfortable with that, as they still currently are in win now mode. So the organization is kind of backed into the corner because they don't really have a viable replacement for Ayuk. He's still a very, very good player. They really want to maximize their success this year, because Brock Purdy, he only has 2 years left on his rookie scale contract. And if you trade away Ayuk, you undoubtedly become worse this upcoming season. So it's kind of the weird dilemma that they find themselves in. So hopefully we will get a resolution to that situation before the regular season begins. And we literally just did, as I'm finishing up editing this video. I mean, of course this would happen. 49er fans, you should be thanking me, because if I did not begin making this video, Ayuk would probably not be signed right now. But he did agree on a 4-year, $120 million extension with $76 million in fully guaranteed money. And this is a fairly good compromise for both sides, because he's not being paid more than like Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, but he is over $30 million a year, which I do think is a nice representation of his value to this team, but also his production. But I will say this is not the only contract situation that the 49ers have been dealing with this offseason, and arguably this other one is more important. Future Hall of Fame left tackle Trent Williams has also not shown up a single day of training camp so far this summer, and he has been very vocal that he is not going to step onto the field until the 49ers give him some more money. So you have this situation with your best wide receiver and Ayuk not showing up, and now by far your best offensive lineman and maybe the best offensive player on your team. This is just not what you want to find yourself in as you approach the start of the season. And contrary to the IU contract situation, I feel like this one, the 49ers really have like no choice. The rest of their offensive line is very shaky. It's really Trent Williams that really helps that unit become at least average. Pro Football Focus ranks it as the 24th best unit in the league with Trent Williams playing. If he is not on the field, that is a drastic drop off, and that might even have the 49ers being one of the bottom 3 offensive lines in the league. And Shanahan will do his best to work around it, but I just feel like if that unit doesn't have one elite player on the entire unit, eventually it is going to struggle and end up costing the team some games. He's set to make $20 million this year, but it has been reported that he wants to get paid, which probably means close to maybe $30 million a season. Minnesota Vikings left tackle Christian Darrisaw reset the market this offseason with his contract extension to $26 million per year. So I think at the bare minimum, Trent Williams is going to be trying to eclipse that and make around $27, $28 million just this season. So those are the 2 contract situations that the 49ers organization has been dealing with all summer long. But something I'm also keeping an eye on this season is running back Christian McCaffrey, as he's coming off an over 400 touch season, and he suffered a mild calf strain in training camp, so he has not been practicing a ton either. In the years prior to CMC joining the 49ers, he was routinely banged up with the Carolina Panthers, but since he was traded to the 49ers back in 2022, he has been very durable and had the best rushing yard season of his career last year with 1,400 yards. He's undoubtedly the best running back in the league and even one of the best weapons in the league because he's been able to catch the ball so efficiently as well. But after coming off of another 400 touch season and entering his age 28 season, I am a tad bit concerned about McCaffrey's availability for all 17 games this upcoming year. Kyle Shanahan did say in a recent press conference he's not worried about his availability early in the season. He should be ready to go for week number 1. But I'm just connecting the dots here and noticing that he's already dealing with some soft tissue injury. He's coming off of a season where he had so much usage and he's approaching that vaunted 30-year-old mark for a running back. Combining all those elements, I would just be surprised at this point if he is able to play all 17 games this year. So those are 3 pretty big deals of 3 of the best players on the 49ers roster. And even outside of that, the schedule for San Francisco this year is going to be an absolute gauntlet. Obviously, we know about the divisional games, having to play the Arizona Cardinals twice, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Los Angeles Rams, and they've really dominated this division over the past couple of years, but I don't really expect it to be a cruise this season. I think all 3 teams got better this offseason, and the Los Angeles Rams could be a sneaky contender in the NFC. But on top of that, the 2 divisions that they have to play this year are the AFC East and the NFC North. That means 3 games against the New York Jets, the Buffalo Bills, and the Miami Dolphins, which are not going to be easy. And then matchups against the Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, and the Chicago Bears. That division is seen as one of the best in the league as well. And due to the first place schedule, they also have to play against the Dallas Cowboys again and the Kansas City Chiefs. So this is not going to be a super easy road for the 49ers in another season where they can just cruise to like the number 1 seed again. I do still think because of their roster talent and having one of the best coaches in the league in Kyle Shanahan, that if Trent Williams does hold out, if Brandon Ayuk does get traded, if Christian McCaffrey does miss some time, this is still a slam dunk playoff team. I have no concerns about them not being able to make the postseason. It's really more just about the expectations now and the 49ers being able to reach those or not. This is a Super Bowl or bust team at this point after making it 2 separate times in the past 5 years. Kyle Shanahan has not won the big one yet. He is still in search for his first ever championship. And as I stated earlier, the window of this team is slowly beginning to shut more and more and more every single season. Trent Williams, he's approaching the 40-year-old mark. You have Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel about to be 30 years old. And you combine that with the Brock Purdy contract situation. If he should get paid around $45, $50 million per season, that's going to limit your team building. That is how the 49ers have been able to build such a great roster, is because of Brock Purdy's contract. I mean, he's not even making $1 million per season. And so when he has to be broken off, that does take away from all the other roster talent that you can acquire. There's really a lot riding on the 49ers this upcoming season and the following year, because I feel like the current core of the 49ers could be completely different in just a couple of years as some of these guys age out and Brock Purdy has to be paid a large sum of money. So this franchise might not have a better opportunity than the next couple of years to win themselves their first championship since the 1990s. But nonetheless, I'm very curious to see how the 49ers do battle all this adversity that they've been facing the last several months and if they can avenge their loss in the Super Bowl. But I want to know what you think about the 49ers and what you expect from them in 2024. Do you think this team has been dealing with a little bit too much drama to win themselves a Super Bowl this year, or do you still like their chances in the NFC? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But subscribe to the channel if you are new, drop a like in the video if you did enjoy it, and as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.